We are live. Good morning, Platinum Top 50 Austin. And thank you guys so much for joining us this morning. You are in for a real treat and a great presentation. I have seen the slides on today's presentation, maximizing ROI through home staging. And what I think you're going to love about this is it's a very tactical presentation. So really real world case studies, experiences. Our presenter is going to talk about things from industry statistics to tax and appraisal advantages. So usually when you start thinking about home staging presentations, you might tend to think it's more design oriented, whereas this one is super practical and applicable to how you run your business. And so I just think the content is great and can't wait to bring that to you this morning. As you guys know by now, our program, that is Platinum Top 50, and the content and the webinars and the education and the relationships and the resources, everything that we work to bring you, the agents, is underwritten through partnerships, strategic partnerships we have with top-notch businesses that are dedicated to serving you, the agent, and your clients at a really high level of service. And today's program is being brought to you by our partners over at Taylor Morrison. So wonderful builders in the greater Austin area. And today we're going to meet two of their sales professionals and talk specifically about these really cool kind of niche communities, 51 East, Park, and Loyola. And 51 East and Park, I mean, they're at 51st, a half mile from 183, priced in the, starting in the fours. So wonderful communities with great locations. So I'm sure you want to hear about it. In fact, one of the sales counselors literally has people banging on her door right now to come in and preview, but she's going to hold them off for a few minutes so she can get her announcements out. So it is my pleasure to introduce Candace Harper and Gage Sears, both with Taylor Morrison. So Candace, Gage, I am going to let you guys take it away and let these agents know. Candace, yeah, unmute yourself. Great. Let these agents know about your community and what kind of sales opportunities and online tools you have for them so they can help get you some buyers here in the next couple of weeks. So guys, take it away.
Thank you. So 51 East is a super great location. It's about 5 miles to downtown, about 5 miles to the airport. It's a small boutique community. We're only going to have 231 homes and we're all said and done. It's got a swimming pool, a hammock grove, a movie park for outdoor screening events, and then a future dog park coming early this fall. It's low maintenance living too. HOA takes care of front lawn care, and it's super close to Mueller, so very convenient for shopping and dining. We just opened our third and final phase, so we still have a lot of opportunities here. And our website's really cool because you can go online and book an appointment right away in real time. We do tend to fill up fast, especially on the weekends. So take advantage of that website tool if you can.
I'm going to jump in. Thanks, Candace. Hi, my name is Gage, one of the community sales managers at 51 East. We also have two other communities coming up less than a half mile away from 51. So for anyone looking to be on the east side and is trying to figure out what's a good new build fit for them, we have a community called Loyola as well as Park at 51 East. Loyola is going to be opening up later this year at the end of 2020, and Park at 51 East just opened up about a month and a half ago, and it already has a couple of sales. One of the things we wanted to talk about was, and I'm going to share my screen, is now, like Candace was saying, you can schedule an appointment online, as well as you can actually reserve a home site too. So if you have any clients that are shopping from afar that are unable to meet with you to practice social distancing or for whatever the reason, they can schedule up virtual guided tours with us, or they can perform a self-guided tour as well, and even link up with us to go ahead and take that home off the market for them. A cool change that Taylor Morrison did across the board starting August 1st is that we've adjusted to the Live Well features, and this is all in response to the weird times that we're living in the pandemic that is COVID-19. But a really cool one is that we're adding a MERV 13 air filter into the attic, and we're actually including motion sense kitchen water faucets in every home that a buyer purchases, as well as adding a whole house water filter and then doing some antibacterial room fans in there. So that's actually really exciting, and we're super excited to be able to offer those features to all of our buyers that are moving forward And last but not least, we did make a little video just kind of showcasing the way these lots are laid out in these 3 different communities, and we hope you enjoy it. Thanks for your time.
Awesome, Gage. If you'll stop your screen share, then we'll bring that video up for you.
Cool. Thanks, y'all.
And love it here. You can kind of get a little topo view, see kind of proximity to downtown.
This is 51 East, which is the community that's currently under construction that Candace mentioned. And then behind it, that's Park, the new neighborhood that we just opened up. So as it pans over here, you'll be able to see the skyline kind of in the background in a couple of these. So, like Amber was saying, we're less than 2 miles from Mueller. You can see the skyline in the back there. Downtown is no more than 15 minutes at any time of day to get there from our communities, which is wonderful. So that's going to be a really neat neighborhood.
Awesome. That was great. And yeah, even just that visual kind of gave me a great point of reference for where it's located and kind of what the build out looks like. So thank you guys for that overview and for just being great partners of Platinum Top 50 and serving our agents and their clients really well. We will send all of our guests some follow-up information, links to the video, as someone asked, flyers on some of the online tools they have. So we'll send all of that to you as well in the follow-up, along with the slides that we'll send you from our presenter. So thank you guys so much. Hey, Gage, you might want to go in the chat. There's been another question there for you in addition to that first one. So bye, Candace. Bye, Gage. We'll see you guys in a little bit.
Bye. Thanks, y'all.
A little bit of housekeeping for our guests, just to kind of give you the best user experience that you can have. So starting with in the top right, if you're on a computer, if you want to run your cursor over, you can adjust the view, either speaker view, or you can do gallery view. For this style presentation, once Brandon comes on, you'll probably want to do speaker view. That means just him and his presentation will be on your screen. Also, what's already been used, which is great, is at the bottom, you have a chat bubble. So if you want to open up the chat, Barbara Van Dyke already asked if these were site condos or are they fee simple, and Gage gave her the answer that they're zone detached condos. And Cheryl Stevens also asked if she can get a link. So again, just another way that you can chat with us throughout the program. But for your Q&A with regards to maxing ROI on staging, it's really better if you want to compartmentalize those as questions come up as we're going through the presentation. Use that Q&A bubble, and that way I'll get those at the end. We've allotted plenty of time for Q&A, and so I'll go through those kind of in the order for which they were received. So if you have questions through the presentation that you want to ask to Brandon, I encourage you to use that Q&A feature at the bottom. So, okay, that's all it is for housekeeping and from some announcements from our partners presenting this program. Let's go ahead and bring on Brandon Blake. Brandon is the CEO and owner of Traditions Interiors, the home staging company. The staging company. Brandon, unmute yourself so you don't do what I always do and start talking and no one can hear me.
Just like my hands wildly.
Yeah, I know. Well, look, this is your show today. I've kind of done my part here. I am going to let you take it away and teach our agents what you have to share with them on this great presentation you put together. So good luck, my friend. Thank you also, Traditions, for being a wonderful partner of Platinum Top 50 in Austin. Shout out to Courtney Oldham, the agent who introduced us about a year ago and said, you've got to meet my stager. I'm so glad she made that intro. So Brandon, thank you also for being a quality partner of Platinum Top 50 Austin. Take it away, my friend. It's yours from here on out.
Awesome. Well, let me start by sharing my screen here. Hey, everybody. Good morning. And I'm super happy to be here. Can everybody see? Amber, can you see the slides okay?
I sure can.
Okay, awesome. Well, yeah, I'm super happy to be here. We love our partnership with PT50 just because we pride ourselves in excellence and professionalism, and they're an organization that does the same thing, and they connect us with people that also share that as a value and character trait in their business. So real quick before we get started, take out your phone, open up the camera app and point it at the QR code there at the center of the screen. This is going to take you to a sign-up form for our newsletter. And I promise I'm not going to spam you with anything. I'm not going to, throw any sales copy at you, but I'm new to this industry, and because I'm new to this industry and I just geek out over stuff in general, specifically sales and marketing stuff. I'm out, scouring the interwebs, finding cool things. And so a couple times a month, I just send those out, just short and sweet. If you're familiar with Tim Ferriss's 5 Bullet Friday or Digital Marketers DM Insider, they're short emails, but they pack a punch, and, you can take it and leave it at your own pace. And then we'll get started. Okay. Well, as I said, good morning. I'm Brandon Blake, and I'm new to this industry. I bought Traditions Interiors in July of 2019. And a buddy of mine's a business broker, and when he first came to me with the idea of buying a staging company, I had no idea even what home staging was. I mean, I've said it a couple times, but my family and we watch Fixer Upper, but I thought that was Chip and Joanna's thing. I didn't even really know that this was a whole industry, and perhaps that's ignorant and naive of me, but since then my eyes have been really opened up. So not having any experience in the staging or real estate industry, I started to look at home staging as a different entity, right? Because I do have over a decade of B2B support and B2B services, specifically sales and marketing in B2B support and services companies. So I began to ask, what if a home staging company started to look like a B2B services and support company, like your marketing agency, like your IT company? Whatever, you rely on those guys to provide a flawless product with communication and execution. So I began to ask those questions and ask what if and what's possible. When my team still comes to me with problems or says we can't do that, I always ask, well, what if we can, right? So we're always shooting for the moon. We're always asking what's possible. We're always asking to redefine what a home staging company looks like. And the team has adopted it. I mean, full force. It's just blowing my mind how well they've adopted this and how we've shifted to support the industry in this way. But we are not here to talk about me this morning. We are here to talk about you guys, and specifically ROI around home staging. So the sayings when it comes to home staging. Staging helps the property sell faster and for more money. It's very true, but it's very high level. Staging always costs less than the first price drop. Always true. But I like to ramp it up a little bit and say nothing in your marketing toolkit builds more ROI than staging. We are in a shift right now. In the prior industries that I've been a part of, we started to see a trend emerge that 80% of people didn't want to talk to a salesperson, or in this industry, an agent, until they were 80% of the way through the buying stage, right? Most people didn't want to speak to a salesperson until they were 80% of the way through the buying stage. So what does that mean? People have already started to come with an educated view of what they want to see. And most likely they have done that by shopping online. They're not shopping in magazines anymore. They're shopping online, right? And so photos and home staging are selling homes faster than anything else that you have in your marketing toolkit. So this morning, we're going to dive deep into ROI through staging. We're going to talk about first, what is a rounded view of ROI, right? What saves money and what makes money. We're going to talk about industry statistics and how we are beating them here in Texas. We're going to talk about tax advantages. Staging is a win-win on tax. We're going to talk about appraisals and how home staging plays into appraisals. We're going to talk about virtual staging, which I spelled out sarcastically. Because spoiler alert, I don't think there's any ROI in virtual staging. And then we're going to look at some local case studies, not necessarily in that order. So when we talk about a rounded view of ROI, probably no stranger to this, but there's things in the sales process that save you money, and there's things in the sales process that make you money. Staging sells houses faster, period. And so when you look at saving money, when you look at an average days on market at 39 versus when it's staged right now through COVID, we're looking at average days on market between 1 and 2. That's going to save your client a lot of money. It's going to save them a lot of money in mortgages. It's going to save them a lot of money in taxes, insurance, and utilities. It's just going to save them a lot of time in the fact that they can move on with their lives so much faster than if they had their house on the market for the full average days on market, right? And then when you look at what makes people money, staged homes sell for more money, period. Absolutely. And so that yields a higher net to your seller, right? Which yields higher commission to you, and then higher client satisfaction ratings. And, I developed this slideshow about a month and a half ago, and threw out the idea that perhaps there might not be a better time to sell a house than right now. There may never have been a better time than right now. And the past month and a half has kind of proven that to be the case. I mean, when people are selling a house, they're able to list it at the highest end of that range because of the staging and the photos. They're able to get that money. Somebody in their sphere of influence hears how much they sold their house for, and it's creating those referrals and creating that fire. So let's dive into some industry statistics. And guys, I know I'm talking really, really fast. I tend to do that, but we definitely will have some time for questions at the end. And last time I gave this presentation, we had some really great questions, so I look forward to them. So when it comes to home staging, 95% of staged homes sell in 11 days or less. I'm going to show you how we're beating that. Staged homes sell 87% faster than non-staged homes. We are definitely beating that here. Staged homes sell for 17% more, and here we're talking about, X. And overall, industry-wide, staging creates a 4X return on investment. We're actually beating that here at Traditions, and prior to COVID, and now, going through COVID, we are definitely beating this. And overall, in a house, we talk about heart of home. The highest ROI for staging is in your living room, your dining room, your master or primary bedroom, kitchen, and bathrooms. Okay, so let's dive into some specific industry statistics here. So nationwide, the average days on market for a staged home is 11. Here in San Antonio, prior to COVID, it was 39. But when we staged a home, we were seeing between 5 and 6 days on market. And now, going through COVID with this restrained inventory or constrained inventory, we're seeing between 1 and 2 days on market. And in Austin, 1 to 2 days on market, that's kind of become the norm recently, right? But now we're seeing days on market and multiples up to 20X of ROI on the staging. So industry-wide staging ROI is 4X. Here at Traditions Interiors, prior to COVID, we were looking at 7.4X return on investment. And sometimes, like I said, in Austin, we're seeing between 10 and 12 X be the average, and as high as 20X. So when I look at what staging and photos is doing to the industry as a whole, we're a staging company, we can look at this data a couple of different ways. And one of the ways that I look at it is the amount of homes we have out staged. When I bought the company in July of last year, we had about 85 homes staged. And that number held constant. It dipped a little bit in December, but then it was back up there in January. We staged and listed a whole bunch of homes. In February, we staged and listed an enormous amount of homes, and we got that number up to the high 90s. But then, COVID hit, people were more hesitant to list. When they did list, their homes were selling super fast because they were staging them. We destaged a whole bunch of homes. I mean, like 40 homes in March, bringing us down to the mid 50s. And you can see that trend kind of continued all the way through June. I think in July, people are starting to realize that they can list and how much money they can list for. So we staged a whole bunch of houses, but you can kind of see everything we staged in January and February sold instantly. Why? Because people are shopping online, because people are looking at photos and they're looking at staged photos. So just another way that I look at it, here's our actual destaged calendar from 2 weeks ago and then last week. So you can just see we're destaging an enormous amount of homes. So what can we gather from this? Texas is awesome and staged homes are selling really fast. And probably we have too much furniture. We have about 100 houses worth of furniture here. We're going through it and kind of paring some down to absolutely the best because we're seeing those days on market come down so much. So why do we stage? So it's common to see pictures like this on MLS. And prior to COVID, prior to the start of 2020 and definitely prior to COVID, this was a very normal photo to see on MLS because people were going to go out on a Saturday afternoon and see 6-7 houses. That's not going to happen anymore. People are seeing those 6-7 houses online, and the environment that we're in, people are risking their lives to go out and see these houses. So they're going to narrow it down to a top 1, top 2 to see. And this house, as it is with the photos that are taken, is not going to make the cut. But this house absolutely makes the cut. It's the same house. It's just lightened up. It's brighter. Somebody can see now I can fit my full-size couch there. Look, I have chairs for my guests. That kitchen actually, with the scale of the couch, is pretty big. My watch is reminding me to eat. And then look, we've got a table over there in the corner, and that's actually a 6-top table. So there's quite a bit of room in this house, but you wouldn't necessarily be able to see it from this photo. So even with constrained inventory, when people are being super selective at the houses that they're going to see, are they going to select this as an option, or are they going to select this as an option? Now, this specific house spent 4 days on market and sold above asking. We see floor plans like this all the time, and excuse me, I don't have the before photo of this one, but we see floor plans like this all the time, and people walk in and, hey, the house is beautiful, the selections are beautiful, but if it's empty, they can't really imagine doing life there. But look, we've got a 6-top dining table there in the center of the room. So this room is actually a whole lot bigger than it feels when it's empty. And that's why you stage. You show people what life is going to be like in there. This specific house spent, again, 4 days on market and sold above asking. Again, prior to COVID, I'm just going to take my watch off. It's just buzzing nonstop here. Prior to COVID, or prior to the start of 2020, this was a very normal photo to see on MLS. You'd actually see them all the time, and they're going to be tagged, Board of Realtors there at the bottom. But this house, having gone, or in the late stages of COVID here, and, the transformation, people shopping online, this is not going to sell a house anymore. This is going to sell a house. Right? So it gives scale. It's the same view, but it gives scale to the house. And when we look and we turn the corner, so you walk into this house empty, you see this staircase, and it's a distraction, right? People can't see how the room's going to be broken up and how they'll actually do life in this house. But when you stage it, Now you see the scale, you see the living room. There's another sitting area over on the backside with that fireplace. And there's another 6-top dining table, which gives perspective to the kitchen. So now what was a complication, that staircase, is now an asset because it breaks up the different living areas in this room while still maintaining that open concept. This one spent 5 days on market and sold at asking. So let's look at a couple of specific case studies. So number one, this is an 1,100 square foot house up in Austin. This one was listed at $475. And so for 1,100 square feet at $475, you want to make sure that you really can do life in this house. And if you walk into an empty house, you're not so sure that you can. But when you see a full-size couch and you see chairs and you see, dining table, you see an 8x10 rug, it really gives scale to this 1,100 square foot house. This specific project, the staging cost $2,660. It got offers day one and it sold at $503, which is 10x ROI. It's absolutely incredible. Case study 2, this is from one of our volume clients. They stage between 10 and 15 houses a month with us. Larger house, it's a 2,300 square foot house. It's listed at $400. Their package, we have a $1,500 package for them. Again, this one got offers day one, sold at $421. So that's a 14x ROI on this property. And then case study 3, this is a 1,200 square foot house. Another one of our volume clients, they do between 8 and 10 stagings a month with us. 1,200 square foot, listed at $279. Staging on this one, because of their package, cost $1,650. Again, got offers day one and sold at $315, which is an absolutely astonishing 21x ROI. Now, granted, that's an outlier, but of course we have to tout just what we're talking about, especially with these smaller homes when we give them scale. So reached out to a couple of those volume clients just to get some, personal testimonials from them. And one of them said, I typically think staging helps me get an extra 10K, even possibly closer to 20K best case, and sell the property 50% faster. So really illustrates the point that we're making here. Another one, most of our staged homes receive offers within the first week on market. So just briefly moving into tax benefits, when we talk about ROI, we're looking at the return on investment, obviously. But what if the investment that we make also is a huge advantage? And according to IRS publication 523, home staging is a legitimate selling expense for both primary and secondary homes. It's also a legitimate marketing expense for agents. So that means whatever you invest in the home staging to sell the house faster and for more money, it's also giving you tax benefits. And when it comes to appraisals, the same psychological effect that staging has on buyers has the same effect on appraisers, right? Most of our investors will leave the staging for appraisals because of that same emotional connection. Now, appraising is still going to be based on data and comps, but what it does is it draws the eyes to the benefit of the benefits of the house, and appraisers generally recognize it as helpful. Another huge asset to home staging is you can give purpose to those multi-purpose rooms. Like the house that I live in is a 4-bedroom house, but they had that 4th bedroom, which is extremely tiny. They were using it as an office. So when the appraiser went and appraised the house, he actually appraised the house as a 3-2. Now we knew it was a 4-2, so we were still comfortable buying the house, and it's still appraised, but it caused some confusion around that room. So if you have a small room that you use as a big closet or a music room or an office or whatever, stage that thing as a bedroom, and it gives purpose to that multi-purpose type of room. It also increases the perceived value, again, to the eye. It's a psychological benefit, and staged homes have the appearance of being well kept. So the question I always get is, hey, if it's all about photos and staging, why wouldn't I try virtual staging? I mean, you can get those packages online. You see ads all the time, $49 package, 8 photos, whatever. And it's good. I mean, this is an example of virtual staging done really, really, really well. It's definitely going to get you views. But at some point in the buying process, the buyer, the appraiser, the inspector, they're going to walk in and they're going to see this. And the whereas the home staging creates that emotional connection, that psychological benefit to the buyer within that first 5 seconds, this does the exact opposite. This immediately says, well, what else is wrong with the house? It raises those red flags, and now they start looking for issues. And so you're almost better just not having done that at all, and not having this at all, and just showing a vacant house. So that's why I say that virtual staging has no ROI. When you're shooting a staged house, I mean, it's just like they can do a lot with special effects in Hollywood, but all the foreground stuff, all the scale stuff, that's all real. Because, when shot, it just looks a whole lot better. So what about pricing? So we've developed a couple of just easy to follow packages around the heart of home. So we have a standard 30-day staging. That's the heart of home, and that is, I'm going to move the screen here, $27.20, and that's going to cover all the heart of home: the living room, the dining room, the master or primary bedroom, a couple of bathrooms, and the kitchen. We've also got the standard plus, which expands the heart of home out to a breakfast and office, and that's $33.60. So you can actually go to your clients and kind of know in broad terms what that staging is going to cost. Now, if they have some extra sitting areas or need a whole bunch of extra art or, bigger art, it might fluctuate a little bit, but in broad terms, it's going to be pretty close to this number. Now, Lux, and we define Lux, any home over 750, 800, we're going to want to do a custom quote on that, because you really want to suit the house, and it's closer to a design project than just a staging scale project. And then we also have packages for investors and volume pricing, and we do that by contract, and really we just do that by understanding the niche that you're in and what package works best for that niche. What's going on here? Okay, so now here's that QR code to sign up for the newsletter again, and questions. Amber, are you still there?
Oh yeah, I'm here. Hey there. I was going to let you know, one of our agents, Cindy Cummings, let us know that for her, the QR code wasn't working as she went to register. So anyways, maybe that's just something on the back end we can look into and then resend that to our agents. Brandon, if you'll stop your screen share, you and I can come up together because we've got a couple of questions.
Awesome.
So starting with the timing and the appraisal. So I love the idea that staging can add value to an appraisal when you have like an awkward room or a weird space, because agents know as well as I do that appraisal has some subjectivity to it, right? And so there is that human element. So how do you kind of advise on the timing of when people want to do the pickup, and what does your turnaround time work for you?
So in terms of the whole thing in scheduling, staging we're super flexible with, and we can actually move pretty fast. I mean, we can see a house on Monday and certainly have it staged by the end of the week. We can even see a house on Tuesday, Wednesday, and still potentially have it staged by the end of the week. We're going to be super flexible on that. As that house goes under contract and gets out of option period, just let us know when the closing is, and we'll schedule destage at some point before the closing. And if we're getting right to the edge of that 30-day contract, I mean, we're going to be flexible as long as we see it on the calendar. If it's going to be another couple of weeks, there will be a renewal fee, but we're flexible and we communicate through the whole process.
Are you, we have a question here. Barbara would like to know kind of the slides as well as pricing. And I know we've touched on that before. So can you talk to us just kind of about like the packaging that you do and how pricing works for the homes?
Absolutely. So we usually talk about those highest ROI rooms, the heart of home, living, dining, master, primary bedroom, bathrooms, and kitchen. So standard 30-day contract is $27.20. If we expand the heart of home out to be to include an office and a breakfast area, I think it's $33.60, somewhere right around there. all of our contracts are 30-day contracts. And if they go past the 30 days, they just renew at 25%. They convert to a furniture rental agreement at 25% of whatever the original is. For anything luxury, you know, those high dollar homes, we do those custom quotes because they're more intense design projects. And then we have packages for investors and, you know, volume clients based on their specific niche.
Okay. And so you had mentioned before that there's like a consulting fee, and we've had some questions kind of about, you know, virtual staging. So can you walk us through both consulting fee, how that rolls into the contract, and then how you approach the virtual staging?
Sure. So we will come out and view a home. It's $200 in San Antonio. It's $250 in Austin. And what that is an hour walk and talk, prepping your seller for all the things that they need to do to stage their own home. And if they opt to do that through us, we credit that towards the cost of the staging. And then we don't do virtual staging. I just don't. I mean, it's here. It's a real thing we need to contend with. But I actually, not even because it competes with us, I really think it does more harm than good.
Yeah, and why is that? Because I really respect your opinion as like a business owner. That's one of the things that, while you started by saying, well, you know, I've been in this business for, you know, a year, but you run your business like you've been in it for 10 years. So
Yes.
What is it that you feel like is kind of lacking in that process or that service execution?
So home staging is all about that first 5 seconds. It's all about creating that emotional connection with the house, because 9 out of 10 people can't look at an empty house and see what life's going to be like. Well, when you virtually stage it, it's going to accomplish the issue of getting people to come see the house because it shows really, really great online. But when they walk in and they see a vacant house, or they, even worse, see an easel with a photo on it, or sometimes I've even seen photos like taped to the wall, the crushing aspect, the letdown, that emotional letdown in the first 5 seconds, you can't come back from it.
Yeah.
You
Well,
know,
and I can
it's
see
the
if
ultimate bait and switch.
if I were to walk in and see things taped or an easel, I would feel like I was duped, right? And certainly expectations, you know, people have grand expectations if they're going in for a showing. And so that first impression is the lasting impression, right? It's the one that lasts. So I can really understand and appreciate that. With regards to Austin, what kind of, you know, turnaround time are you seeing? Like when you go in stage, what does that look like for how fast they're selling?
It's between 1 to 2 days.
Are you serious? Wow. Which, that's what I love about this presentation. It's not staging it to sell. They're gonna sell. It's staging it so you can get your clients max top dollar, even when there's multiple offers.
Right.
And that's what so much of this presentation was about, which is why, yes, we'll share those slides with you. There's statistics, there's case studies. So as agents, you can take that into your listing presentations with your clients and share with them some of what you've learned today. Again, it's not about staging to get it sold. It's about staging to get max dollar, even in that multiple offer situation.
Yeah, you know, within the industry, there's this thing of like, oh, don't talk about home staging as a cost. Don't talk about it as an expense. But no matter what you call it, it is still money out of the seller's pocket, no matter how you hide it or what you call it. But this, I mean, we literally can show you examples all day long where you spend this, invest it, whatever, into your home, and you're going to get 10 to 12x ROI. And so if somebody came to me, and I know we've talked about this before, but if somebody came to me and said, give me $3,000 and I'm going to give you back 30 at the end of the week, like, I will do that all day long.
Yeah. No, I love it. Well, that is it. I was about to say that's it for the Q&A when another one pops in. So guys, get your questions, because right now this is the last one, but we do have some time for some extras. So Christy writes to say, the way you calculate ROI is sales price minus list price divided by staging cost, right? If we present this to clients, but they get less than price, how do we explain that the staging still has benefit?
So that is on the speed of sale. You know, so how many less mortgage payments did you make? How many less property tax payments did you make? How many less utility payments did you make? In Austin, I'm less concerned about it going less than list price. That does happen in San Antonio sometimes in some of these more challenging neighborhoods. But again, it sells so much faster if it's staged than if it's a vacant house. I mean, we'll see examples down here in really challenging neighborhoods where the house is listed at the top end of the range. And, you know, like it doesn't have a pool when it should in that range or whatever. And we stage it and it still gets offers day one. Right. So it's still doing its job, you know, whether you do get that, you know, flashy, showy 10, 12X or your house sold in 1 day, 2 days, and you just get to move on with your life. It's still a benefit.
Well, and Christy, I totally appreciate the question. And I think it's a great one to ask for the audience. And I would just go on to say too, that that's all about the expectation too, that you present to them, right? Like you can share with them the statistics, you can share with them the case studies and the averages, but you also share with them the reality that just like any other investment, right? There's variables that you can't account for. And so I would just go, you know, just submit that in addition to what Brandon has said, how you present that to your clients, you're not guaranteeing, right? I mean, you can't guarantee anything in real estate. It's against the bylaws, right? But you can suggest and show stats and use market data to present a case. And so I think that the way that you avoid that hot water is to, just like I said, you know, you set the expectation, this is the norm, these are the statistics. However, right, let's also understand that nothing's guaranteed. And then let them kind of make that decision. Would you agree with that, Brandon?
Absolutely. And there's always outlying cases on both sides of the bell curve. But what I will say is that we do this all day long, and we will say that the norm, the center of the bell curve, looks amazing. And so, I mean, we just make our decisions based on that, you know.
Which is great. So Rosalia has a question. Do you have any examples of luxury listings that you have staged in their ROI? And maybe not like examples where, you know, you can pull out the exact numbers or photos right now, but like, does that ROI tend to be the same for your median average prices, or is it smaller or less as you kind of increase in sales price?
So that is a fantastic question. And I think the answer is slightly more nuanced. But with luxury homes, I mean, mortgages are a real big deal there. So a quick sale is great. We staged 3 homes in the parade this year. And the feedback was great. I don't know the exact sales numbers on them, but we can reduce the time on market on, you know, almost any luxury property. And there's a lot less of them, so we don't have the specific numbers.
Yeah.
But, you know, just in broad terms, absolutely.
Good question. All right, Brandon, thank you for sharing your wisdom. Thank you for sharing your insights on this. Thank you also for making available the slides, because again, I know as agents go in and agents want the clients to stage, right? And I love how you said it's how you present it, not as an expense, right? But as something that's going to yield them better return. So thank you for sharing that. We'll share all the slides with our agents, as well as the information that was presented earlier from Taylor Morrison and their contact info. I do want to mention also in our chat is our friend Ryan Baldridge. Ryan is a great photographer partner of Platinum Top 50 in Austin. So once Brandon in Traditions does the staging, then we'll call up Ryan and get that photography, and you guys are well set to a lot of success between those two people. So any last comments from you, Brandon, before we sign off?
All good. Thanks again for having me.
Appreciate you taking the time to put that presentation together and sharing it with us. So to everyone on the call, thank y'all so much. Check your inbox later this afternoon for some of that follow-up. And just continue to check back with Platinum Top 50. We've got some great programming. Do want to mention we have Comedy for a Cause. That is our big annual fundraiser. And look, we're not shying down from the challenge of bringing that online. But let me tell you, we've got a great lineup of acts and games. We're going to be live. We've got some pre-recorded. You might see Tiger King roar his head, all different kinds of great stuff. So we hope to see you at our fundraiser later this month. And until then, guys, thanks so much. We'll see y'all later. Thanks again, Brandon.
Absolutely. Take care.
Bye.